hope you can hear us. It's a little echoey. So my mistake, I did bring the mics, but I didn't bring the adapter. So next time we're in the brewery, we'll have our mics on, so the audio is a little better.
Yeah, so we got a beer here today, homebrew from Big Dog Brewing. He calls it, that's our friend Dave. We got a little merch. We got some sample merch glasses here to show you guys here. He calls it the Get Mood Cream Ales, 4.1% ABV, brewed on August 5th. So, what are we at? We're almost mid-October now?
Yeah.
Like a couple months.
The 14th.
Good little this.
Time to settle out. Clear out. Wow. That's nice. It's humid AF out here, but you can tell it's clear. It's just immediate, like, frosty.
Nice and clear all the way to the bottom of the can, too. So,
Yeah, get some big lemon in there.
wow, that's a nice clear beer.
You get that creamy. Yeah, I get the corn. I almost like the corny cream ale.
Yeah, I was gonna say
cream wheat thing going on. But it's really kind of rising up there with that lemon.
Yeah.
The lemon?
Yeah, I'm getting lemon.
Yeah. Okay. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Yeah, that's creamy.
Very light. Very
Nice,
good.
nicely done.
Very refreshing for this Florida heat.
Tomorrow's supposed to be like 70s, but today it's like 90.
One last summer push.
So the main reason why we're in here talking to you guys is we got a big mess in here.
So let's start over here. They cut our floor up to shit. So this is about this line here is where we're gonna have, and I forget if it's left or right, but it's single hand sink, probably, and then 3 compartment sinks. So 3 compartment sink, hand sink behind our bar. So this will be the customer side, that'll be service side. Bar comes all the way out here. On this side of the bar, this is your walking area right here, and the cooler wall is going to be this far out. So Gary, you can show them how far it sticks out beyond the mezzanine. So this will be service side, and then this little cutout right here is where they're going to be putting our floor drain, because our cooler wall is going to be over here. Our other taps will be here. So this will be our floor drain for cleanup. Underground, water supply and sewer running through underneath the cooler, where I believe this one is going to be our floor drain in the cooler.
Yes.
Continuing water and sewer lines to this main run here. This main run goes up this way. Over in that corner, we'll have another 3 compartment sink, I believe, and then you run over here, and we're gonna have 2 bathrooms side by side. And so yeah, they had to cut all this up. You see this pipe right here? We were suspecting that was for the original build-out 1 bathroom for this unit. That was gonna be a toilet and a sink over there. That plan is gone. We're gonna run up here a bit. About here is our kitchen door. All our fermenters are lining up on this wall. We're gonna have our grease trap here, and all the sewer and water is running out this service door.
Trench drain too here.
Oh, right, yeah, that's right. Yes, we're gonna have, I think they call for like a 14 or 15 foot brewery floor trench drain. We're gonna have 1 here in front of the fermenters, 1 here roughly in front of where the brew house is gonna be. But yeah, so everything runs out here. We're going to hook up to a sub-meter in the ground, and it's going to connect all of the main sewer and water on the corner of the property. Back in the brewery here, yeah, we're going to have a trench drain. They're going to remove some of this concrete yet, I think so.
Yeah, 8 feet from the wall is
Yeah.
where center of the drain will run. And basically there'll be a small gap here under underground piping, and then the trench drain will run across this way as well. So when we clean our fermenters, we have a place to put all the refuge.
And so we'll have a hand sink on the working side of There's going to be a little pony wall bar here, so on the working brewery side, we're going to have a hand sink. And our water supply is going to be on that side where the sink is. Gary and I are going to, once the bar wall is framed out, we're going to run a PEX line around the back side of the brew house. This is going to be oil kept platform, mash tun, and then we're going to have our RO filter right here. So that PEX line we're going to be running around is to supply the RO system. And that's kind of the general plumbing layout.
Okay, so as we're unpacking our brewery, we're seeing, that we needed things. One things that they had was one of our pumps sort of haphazardly just set on the CIP cart. So I guess they wanted it dedicated. We decided to take that pump off the CIP cart and buy a cart and put it on a cart all by itself. So Josh mounted that onto the cart, and then of course I'm building a control box for it with a variable speed. Thanks, Dave. Sorry, Josh. So this is the control box that's going to go on to the pump cart, and also this is the variable speed control for the 3-phase motor. So I believe this pops off and we'll be able to mount it directly on the control box, and then the hardware part of it we can mount anywhere else. Otherwise it would look silly like that, I think, but whatever. If it has to work that way, it has to work that way. So, when we got our CIP machine, we looked at it and we were like, wait a minute. Doesn't really completely make sense, right? When we talked about it, because when you run CIP, you've got to have the caustic at a certain temperature. Yet it's just CIP heat on and off. And the only thing on here is the TC
Thermometer.
Yeah, it's just a regular old thermometer. So we're just going to put 3-phase relay in there, PID box, and we'll use a temp probe on the front. So when we turn the heat on, we can set it to 150 and not have to worry about overshooting or whatever. And of course, we'll be able to shut it off as well, because this will drain out eventually. And there is an element on the backside right here. Everything's 3-phase in our brewery, so hopefully that saves us some money on electricity. So some of the other things is like this didn't come with any of the setup. So we made all our pigtails. We're actually working on this some more today, but this is you basically take the Sankey D connector, remove the ball and everything else, so the backflow ball, so you can actually clean kegs. And then we looked at it and we were like, wait a minute, it's also missing like T's and elbows. So we bought a few T's and elbows like on the end there. And they were like, wait, we still got to put the kegs upside down. Where are we going to do that? So Josh and I just took some of this 80-20 stuff, the same stuff the pilot system is made out of, just smaller. And we built a little rolling rack that we can sit right on the front. We put the kegs right on here. It's set up so you can put 6-stools or halves right on here, and they won't fall through.
All right.
Yeah, that's what it basically looks like. You can run 2 halves, 2 6-stools, or mix match like this when you're doing the CIP cleaning process. And of course, it would be hooked up. I don't have it hooked up right now because I don't want these kegs are pressurized with remnants of previous beers, but that would sit under there like that. And then the cycle would run. Of course, this cart no longer has a pump. That's not a problem. We'll just wheel over the pump cart and then connect some small brewery hoses that are capable of caustic to the plumbing, and that's where that box comes in. So, those are the kind of projects we're kind of doing. We're wanting to get this stuff done, because when we actually can start building in here, it's all in construction mode. Like you and I are going to be like,
Yeah.
building, because as far as the bars go and the pony walls and the bar tops and shelving, all that, we're going to wrap the cooler with some barn board looking stuff, maybe even do some rafters. We haven't talked about it yet, coming out over the cooler, hanging out over the bar, maybe drop some lights around it. Something we'll do ad hoc on the fly. anyway, these are projects that would really chew up a lot of time while we're doing all that stuff. So we figured we'd get a lot of that out of the way, work out our SOPs for how this is going to run. And basically when we were building our SOPs, we realized, oh, wait a minute, we're missing this, we're missing that. So those two kind of work together. So you basically build a sort of like this, what would you call it? Like a base,
Just a punch list.
yeah,
A foolproof punch list.
yeah, and then you just kind of go through it and realize, well, wait a minute, it doesn't match the cleaning process. So then you alter the SOPs, and here we are. So as we were writing the COPs, we realized we're missing a valve here, a T here, you know, little things. So we're glad we're working those things out now. So, and also, it really, we're just trying to remove a little bit of error as far as like, you know, running the caustic too hot or too cold. So
A big thing to try to figure out too, because we didn't engineer any of these systems, is sometimes Gary and I just sitting here and going, okay, water goes in, water goes out. Why does water go over here? Or why wouldn't water go over here? And just kind of vocalizing that kind of stuff out loud. There was no instructions. We didn't engineer it.
right.
And
So
yeah,
that's the, you know, the bad thing about buying things out, you know, outside the country, as opposed to buying things within the country, because you get the tech support that you may need to understand how to use this stuff. Josh and I are trying to figure this out on the fly. Again, YouTube University helps. And yeah, so we've got a pretty good grasp on how this whole CIP process works, so we're pretty happy about it. That's why we decided to make some changes.
okay, so this came in not a ton of pieces, but it came in, you know, 4 different legs on here. Gary and I both agree a lot in having a lot of our equipment on casters. You'll notice this already had it. That's got 2 casters and 2 fixed wheels. That's going to change. We're going 4 casters, but everything's on wheels. Everything's heavy, everything's on wheels. This is one of them. This is no exception. So Home Depot wheels, put the legs together. This thing is heavy as hell because it's got the motor on the back of it there. Gary's gonna engineer, it's screwed in now. This is where your power is supposed to come out. Gary's gonna engineer probably some sort of a toggle switch, or maybe we'll just plug it into the wall. And then Gary's big thing, and I agree, was this was the base, about here was the top of the hopper. It's not nearly enough for a full stack of grain. And so, what was it, like online sheet metal or something like
Yeah.
that? Ordered up 4 sheets, and we went to town with the welder. Of course, we don't have a TIG welder, so we have to get creative with our MIG welding skills, and lots of
grinding.
grinding and buffing and sanding. So yeah, you look down on the inside of that thing, and the hope is we can just throw a whole sack of 2-row in here, flip it on, and walk away and go grab whatever other specialty grains we need. So it's just bolted up here. We do have it sealed inside, what would you call it? What was that?
RTV.
RTV
Yeah.
caulking, and then there were some holes here in the side of this. I just finished this today. You know, from not TIG welding, we're doing MIG on stainless. It's a little spackly, let's say. So there was some holes we needed to fill. I told Gary, hey, let's just fill it in with some JB weld, so that way it doesn't, you know, it's not leaking dust or grain, and then we'll come back through and sand it smooth. So looks, you know, looks
Decent.
okay.
I mean,
It'll work.
it's a grain mill.
Yeah, it's a grain mill. It's not the sexiest part of our brewery, and that's okay. We just needed to crush some barley for us.
A whole sack.
A whole sack at a time.
So, yeah, we would talk about that nice little ladder that you got there.
Oh,
So
yeah,
that'll help us when we're dropping grains in.
true. So one of the byproducts of my wife and I coming out early was to help with all this stuff in the beginning, but part of that is we need to survive and pay bills. So I've been working a bunch of odd jobs and picking up cool stuff from those jobs. This was from a closeout sale from a pottery place, and they had a ladder it's a $1,300 ladder. We got it for 150 bucks. So this is gonna be super useful for us in the brewery, not just for, you know, being up on a ladder, putting grains in the hopper, but getting up on, and he'll have some pictures he can flash up, getting up to our storage racks overhead of our fermenters, bringing bulk grains, empty kegs up to our overhead storage. Yeah, so another thing, like I was saying, the ladder's gonna be helpful for us climbing up into the racking. we got all this material, probably about, I'd say 8-foot wide sections of storage racking. We got four sections worth of it from that temporary job of mine, probably for $200 or less. They were basically giving it away. So, you know, you go to Costco and get that stuff. Yeah, there's some more of the end pieces. 4 of those times probably $900, $1,000 a piece. And that's close to $4 grand in shelving that we got for like $200. So that's been super resourceful of us and kind of a blessing.
Yeah, well, one thing I would caveat on that is that we had a lot of excess of this stuff, so we cut it up, welded it, and made custom racking for our specific situation, which...
So yeah, that's that was a good we probably spent about 4 days total on that.
Yeah, it was a lot of welding, grinding, and painting, because those things were like a beige color like you would see at any store.
Another nice little come up we had was this. This was a product display that we're going to use for hanging tools or tri-clamps or spare gaskets. We've only filled one side, but I'm sure we're going to find a use for the rest of it. Like I said, everything goes on casters. This thing's heavy. So it's just basic, you know, garage pegboard like you'd use, you know, in your garage for your tools. And we're going to use it for our brewery tools. So
again, something that he picked up one of his little jobs there that he was trying to fill the bank account with, I suppose. You know, we got it. What did you get this thing for? Like
$100.
Yeah, and we painted it. Of course, it was that typical beige you see at any store.
And it does collapse on itself and fold up, so it's real skinny. So we can store it anywhere we want.
Yeah.
So that's another nice thing too.
So this is our cooler, still on pallets, brand new. So we're waiting for the floors, of course, to be done so we can sand the floors, coat them, and then put the cooler up, and then we can start construction, like walls, bar, all of that. So they poured our mezzanine last night or the day before.
Yeah, let's take a look.
We'll take a look up there. Poured the stairs and the top of the mezz. Give you a good perspective down on the brewery. It's a pretty big space up here. It's quite spacious. Still a lot of room to the ceiling. AC ducts coming down there, but yeah, the space is absolutely mind-blowingly large. And this is a top-down view from the mezzanine, of course. And we got great light. We got these big doors and windows, but then we got this strip of windows above because of the additional height of this building. I'm not even sure how tall it is. It's got to be at least 26, 30 feet tall.
Oh yeah.
At least. Yeah. They're still working, of course. They got a lot of touch up, and we were thinking that maybe they would hold off on the concrete up here and then pour all that down there at the same time, but no,
not the case.
not the case. They decided to be inefficient, so be it.
Yeah, what a great place in the brewery to, you know, come and hopefully, you know, we'll have some seating around the perimeter here of this railing and just have a nice little bird's eye view of people and everything going on below. And you know, whether it's open to the public or someone reserves this space for a private party, we're gonna use the hell out of this space.
Yeah.
And make it work for us too.
Yeah. We're considering doing like maybe a large screen TV here or a projector, or like maybe company meetings and things like that where they can reserve a little daytime company meeting with food and beer or whatnot. But yeah, it's coming together slowly. It's painfully agonizing. Of course, so that's all our brewing equipment down. They are covered up just because of the extraordinary amount of mess they're making here. So, oh yeah, let me see, I'll zoom in on it. So those are some of the custom racks we've cut and welded and painted. You can see them behind there, but behind the redneck horseshoes.
Yeah. Well, that's a child's one, but
Yeah. So Nick, because we only got a half a beer out of this, I did bring this, although we have reviewed this once before, but we're just going to enjoy it now, buddy. So the last bit today, I think, for our projects, I'll be here tomorrow as well doing some more of the electronic stuff, is we're probably going to end up putting the rakes and the motor in on the mash tun. That's all this that's still wrapped up behind us. So we'll yank out the mash tun. Maybe we'll get some video of that. The big deal about that is there's a lot of inside the manhole, so it's kind of warm today. So we'll probably have to take turns bolting this all together. You can see there's a lot of bolting that's going to have to happen here with all the stainless steel nuts and bolts we have for this. This is the main rake arm that sits down through the top, and there's a giant like drive train that connects through here with a keyway. It's, you know, pretty heavy duty stuff.
This is what Gary's referring to. Gary, if you want to pull that out.
Yeah. So this, well, if you guys are looking, this is our little yeast.
That's our little Marvin the Martian yeast brink.
Yeah, our yeast brink. For those of you who don't know what a yeast brink is, it's a way to collect yeast from the fermenters. You store it in there under pressure. You put it in your cooler, and then the next day when you want to use it, you put pressure on the top of it, open it up, and you just have it come into the bottom or of the fermenter through that valve at the bottom. So, and you push all that nice fresh yeast back into the new fermenter if you're using the same strain. So anyway, yeah, this of course is upside down. That motor sits on the top. It's a pretty heavy motherfucker. So it's going to be a two-person job. And that nice ladder Josh has come in handy many, many times. Today it will come in handy again. So yeah, that's probably the projects today. The box for the pump cart, starting on the CIP cart. As I'm wiring through, I'm going to realize something's missing and then we'll order those parts. But the only way to know that is to actually start doing it. So that's what we're going to be doing today. All right, I hope you guys love the catch-up. There's a lot going on, but we have more to come.